Good evening and thank you for joining us. The city's central clearing and settlement system for gold begins trial operations, with its first transaction completed today. Chief Executive John Lee says the government will explore additional tax incentives to build a comprehensive gold trading ecosystem.
The initiative aims to align with Beijing's 15th five-year plan, which sets sights on turbocharging Hong Kong's development into an international commodities trading hub. Speaking at the forum, Chief Executive John Lee announces the new clearing system is now in trial operation with a suite of initiatives, and the government will study further tax concessions to encourage the development of a full-chain gold market.
In a world beset with geopolitical crisis and macroeconomic volatility, gold is becoming one of the key pillars for liquidity and risk management. The launch of Hong Kong's central clearing system for gold will create the solid foundation. It will provide a golden opportunity for investors as well as a wide range of professional services concerned. Because after all, if gold is the world's safe haven, then Hong Kong will be its safe harbor.
The system features a central ledger that records participating banks' settlement activities, gold transfers and account balances, while connecting with designated vaults to facilitate physical gold deposits and withdrawals. Pressing ahead, too, are plans to expand Hong Kong's gold storage and refining capabilities. Also introduced is a new gold price ticker called HAU, providing a Hong Kong-specific benchmark that enables global investors to reference the city's gold pricing. Meanwhile, the Financial Services and the Treasury Bureau and the Shanghai Gold Exchange launched the initial phase of Delivery Connect, allowing physical gold to move between Hong Kong and Shanghai. And the Hong Kong Stock Exchange resumed trading of its US dollar-denominated gold futures contract on Monday. It is also considering launching a new renminbi-denominated gold futures contract with delivery support from the Shanghai Gold Exchange. Financial Secretary Paul Chan says the trial operation marks an important milestone in developing Hong Kong's gold trading infrastructure, enhancing the depth, breadth, and sophistication of the city's financial markets.
Starting today, the public can use the government's IM Smart app to book Leisure and Cultural Services Department facilities 15 minutes earlier than before, starting at 7 a.m. LCSD believes real name authentication can help combat unauthorized transfer of booking or scalping, but some users think the effect will be limited. This follows the ban on automated booking of recreational venues earlier this year. Citizens can use the IM Smart app to log into the LCSD website and book recreational facilities for the next 7 days. Some residents say as the IM Smart app requires real name authentication, it can reduce scalping. But others question whether the new measure can effectively curb the illegal resale activity. Nations criticize China's People's Liberation Army's test launch of a strategic missile by submarine in the Pacific Ocean. The U.S. says China's weapons buildup is a great concern to the world, calling its actions the opposite of curbing nuclear proliferation. In Beijing, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs reiterates the test is part of a routine drill and relevant countries need not overinterpret the action.
On Monday, the PLA Navy launched a strategic missile by a submarine carrying a dummy warhead towards the high seas of the Pacific Ocean, landing precisely within the designated waters. The U.S. State Department issues a statement saying, while Washington is committed to preventing nuclear proliferation, China is doing the opposite. It says Beijing's rapid and opaque weapons buildup is of great concern to the region and the world, urging Beijing to engage in meaningful arms control discussions and commit to a regularized notification arrangement for all intercontinental range ballistic missile and space launches. Manila also condemns China's missile test, calling it a reckless display of force which disregarded the security of smaller countries and the fragile ecological environment on which local people depend. It calls on China to stop turning the high seas into an arena to intimidate other nations. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, after signing a mutual defence treaty the previous day with the Pacific island nation, Fiji, visited the Solomon Islands on Tuesday. There, he criticizes China's missile test as a provocative act that undermines regional stability. Solomon Islands Prime Minister Matthew Wei describes China as a good friend, but missile tests are not the actions from a friend. In Beijing, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokesperson Mao Ning says China insists on following the path of peaceful development, and the test activities were not targeted at any specific country, noting that China had already notified relevant countries in the South Pacific region prior to the drill.
Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi says during his latest visit to Oslo that China and Norway should deepen cooperation and jointly contribute to world peace and development. During talks with Norwegian Foreign Minister Espen Barth Eide, Wang notes Norway was among the first Western countries to recognize the People's Republic of China. He says China and Norway relations have nurtured the dialogue on the green transition to facilitate expansion into greener and more innovative areas between the nations. Meanwhile, Norwegian Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Støre says China is probably the country with the best and most direct access to the Russian leadership and urges Wang to use that channel to broker peace in Ukraine. Welcome back. Mourners dressed in black gathered just south of Qom in Iran for the funeral service of the country's late Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, with throngs of people surrounding the truck carrying his coffin. Meanwhile, a tanker traveling off the coast of Oman in the Strait of Hormuz catches on fire after being struck by a projectile, according to the British military. Daniel Rao tells us more.
Mourners dressed in black gathered just south of Qom in Iran for the funeral service of the country's late Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, with throngs of people surrounding the truck carrying his coffin. Iranian state television early Tuesday aired live images from a helicopter of hundreds of thousands of people walking towards Jamkaran Mosque. The mosque is believed by Shiites to have once hosted Muhammad al-Mahdi, the 12th and last Shiite imam, who disappeared in the 9th century and they claim will one day reappear to bring justice to the world. Images of Khamenei and his son, Iran's new supreme leader Ayatollah Mojtaba Khamenei, were displayed on banners and posters held by mourners. At the height of the war, before an April ceasefire, Israel targeted top Iranian leaders, in at least one case likely using their public appearances to fix their position. It has also threatened to kill the younger Khamenei. Authorities have shut down streets, airspace and daily life for the mourning, which began Saturday and will end Thursday, as Khamenei is buried at the Imam Reza Shrine in Mashhad, his birthplace. Khamenei was 86 years old at the time of his death. Meanwhile, a tanker travelling off the coast of Oman in the Strait of Hormuz caught on fire early Tuesday morning after being struck by a projectile, according to the British military. The attack was the latest, targeting a vessel moving through the narrow mouth of the Persian Gulf, through which a fifth of all oil and natural gas traded once passed in peacetime. Iranian state television says the liquefied natural gas tanker came under attack after ignoring warnings, but did not directly claim it carries out. Tehran has repeatedly declared that only its approved route through the strait is safe and is suspected of attacking other ships that have used another route close to the Omani shore. The US is eager to press ahead with negotiations with Iran aimed at fully reopening the strait, rolling back Tehran's disputed nuclear program and reaching a permanent end to the war launched February 28th. US President Donald Trump warns Iran they'd need to make a deal or Washington is going to finish the job. Dan Rao, TV News.
The Hamas militant group says it had dissolved its government in Gaza and is preparing to transfer power to a Palestinian Technocratic Committee backed by the United Nations as part of a U.S.-brokered ceasefire deal. Hamas describes its decision as evidence of its commitment to Gaza's reconstruction after years of war. The Board of Peace, the new entity led by President Donald Trump with the mandate of governing and rebuilding Gaza, says it will evaluate the impact based on actions, not promises. Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar notes in a statement on social media that as long as Hamas retains its weapons, any civilian government will of course operate as Hamas dictates. However, Hamas has insisted on implementing the first phase before moving to discuss its weapons. President Donald Trump says he called FIFA President Gianni Infantino to review the red card given to U.S. national football team striker Valerian Balogun, calling it a horrible call. All I did was ask for a review. Trump said to press at the White House on Monday. Trump says he didn't think it was a foul and it was two great athletes that crashed each other and got entangled. The U.S. president says he didn't initially know what a red card was and what its consequences were. When he found out it could keep Balogun out of Monday's World Cup match against Belgium, Trump says he felt compelled to intervene. He says that's very unfair. How do you penalize them for a game that hasn't been played? Ultimately, the U.S. lost to Belgium in their last 16 clash. However, FIFA's move to overturn the ban has prompted widespread controversy. Hong Kong continues to experience unstable weather conditions, with the amber rainstorm signal having been in effect for nearly 7 hours since the early hours of today. The Hong Kong Observatory forecasts the city will experience heavy thunderstorms throughout tomorrow. The North District's Lay Oak Village suffered a heavy deluge over the course of the active rainstorm signal, with some local residents nearly dragged away by the raging torrents. Scores of villagers say they could face tens of thousands of dollars in losses, mainly from damage to home appliances. The amber rainstorm signal was issued at 5:30 a.m. and was dropped before noon. Areas such as Tsuen Wan, Yuen Long, and the North District experienced some of the heaviest rainfall of over 100 millimeters. Despite the poor weather conditions expected for tomorrow, weather authorities note the weather will gradually improve later this week. Results for the city's secondary school allocation have been released, with 84% of students securing their first choice school. Students must register at their assigned schools this Thursday or Friday. Some students couldn't contain their elation as they received allocation results at their primary schools. A total of 48,545 students took part at the allocation this year, about 500 pupils more than last year. Around 95% were assigned to one of their top 3 choices, on par with last year's results. The Education Bureau reminds students to complete registration within the designated dates. Nearly 4,000 Lions Club's international members from 6 continents gathered at Asia World Expo to perform Tai Chi to break the world record for the most continents represented in a single Tai Chi session. Samantha Lowe has the story.
At Asia World Expo, Lions Club's members from 6 continents came together to practice Tai Chi.
No, I'm start sweating now.
I've done it before.
Oh, it's so fantastic, really, yes. Relaxing. Ooh, feel better and so amused, and you just feel glad and happy.
And it gave me peace to the mind, to my mind, by doing this. And I think this should spread to entire world.
This participant from Hong Kong says he never imagined this type of event could happen here in Hong Kong. Lions Clubs International is a global service organization focused on medical aid, disaster relief, and more. This year marks the 3rd time its annual convention is being held in Hong Kong, and the Tai Chi event is one of the convention's featured activities. The organization's first ethnic Chinese international president, Tam Wing Kun, takes part in the feats as well.
We are pleased to announce that Lions International has achieved a world record in sustainability success.
They successfully set the record for the most continents represented in a Tai Chi session. In addition to improving their physical fitness, the club also hopes that members will gain a deeper understanding of Chinese culture and promote it in their respective countries. On the same day, the Lions Clubs also conducted vision screenings for about 100 primary school students at a local school. Samantha Lowe, TVB News.
And that's the news. Thank you for watching.